Much love and appreciation, family. So, for all of the brand new men's and women's shirts that you see and the limited edition sneakers that you see here, please visit the comment and or the description below the video.
Look, I think I can control these.
11-year-old Bishop Curry has always loved to tinker.
Sometimes I like taking things apart.
Then something happened in his neighborhood that inspired him to do more.
His child in a hot car for
He saw news coverage about a baby dying in a hot car.
I was like, this would be my one wish at to actually helping people.
He came up to me with this drawing and explained to me his solution.
He calls it Oasis.
The device will either sit.
A device that senses if a child is left in a car, alerting parents' phones, then police, while blowing cold air until help arrives.
My thought was, why isn't this in stores now?
Bishop's dad works for Toyota. The car manufacturer was so impressed, it sent them to Michigan for a safety conference. Bishop hasn't forgotten the loss that spurred his idea. He even met with the victim's family.
They didn't want anything to happen like to any other families like that.
Yeah.
The community has donated more than $30,000 to help get a patent.
I work for Bishop, so I filled all his emails, all of his telephone calls. I take him to his meetings with his attorney.
He's like your assistant?
And he's like my dad.
Still a kid in so many ways. But as his dad says, maybe that's the point.
People are donating towards a belief that the world can change through one child.
One child with a big idea and an even bigger heart. Kristen Dahlgren, NBC News, McKinney, Texas.
Let's do it. Bishop Curry, age 11, invented a device that would sense if a child is left alone in a car. So Bishop in his McKinney home in Texas drew a mock-up of the device that would sense if a child was left alone in a car. The device attaches itself to a headrest or a car seat and would then alert parents by phone and police, all while blowing cold air until help arrives. He calls the device Oasis. Quote, "It's like texting, but without emojis." Fern, the 6-month-old baby girl who had died in an overheated car, lived nearby. Bishop passed by her home and her family all the time on the way to school. Since 1994, 804 children have died from heat-related illnesses in cars in the U.S., according to Kids and Cars, an advocacy center that studied the issue. It is approximately 55% of those cases that parents were unaware that their child was in the vehicle.
Prepping for surgery with full scrubs. The equipment is ready. The patient is, well, simulated. And that's a good thing, because the surgeon is only 15 years old.
He shows very good talent, actually, for a young novice surgeon.
Tony Hansberry is just a high school student, but he got the attention of real doctors when he took a new approach to a surgery technique used in hysterectomies in his school science project.
Wow.
What's extraordinary about him and his work?
He has, intelligence, motivation, and certainly a good degree of eye-hand coordination and surgical skill at a very young age.
Tony studies medicine at Darnell Cookman Medical Arts Magnet School in Jacksonville, Florida. And his innovative project earned him the honor to study alongside medical residents at the University of Florida's College of Medicine.
I like helping people. I like fixing them, fixing problems.
His medical school is much like real medical school, with specialized classes in anatomy, physiology, and Latin. The son of a preacher and a nurse, Tony wants to be a neurosurgeon, a goal he focuses on every day.
It's not uncommon for our family to sit around at dinner and to talk about the medical issues. We're talking about cancer and the different types of cancer and what the treatment is.
Tony even sounds like a doctor.
In the laparoscopic mode, the conventional needle drive, when it's sutured up horizontally as well as an endo stitch.
But, Tony says, he's just like any other teenager.
Do you ever have to say, Tony, go do your homework or clean your room?
Tony is a normal kid who has priorities, and sometimes they're not cleaning his room, and sometimes they're not doing his homework.
But this normal kid even surprises seasoned doctors.
It certainly is inspiring and hopefully motivating when they see his work, what he can do at his age.
Tony says it is the attitude of his parents and teachers who taught him he can achieve anything with hard work and steely determination.
There's not a limit for any child, and especially Tony. I'm looking for great things from him.
And if one doctor in training in the family isn't enough, Tony has a twin. Tyler wants to be a doctor too.
Just put your heart and mind to it, and it doesn't matter what other people say. Just stick to it.
A young man setting the bar high, helping people and hoping to save lives. All before he can even
attain perfection. However, if you chase it, you can attain excellence. So with that being said, I would probably put myself in the latter group in the sense that I'm all about trying new things and learning from experience. I've always been someone who wanted to go into medicine. I'm the type of person, just educate me and let me go to the hospital. I love the idea of becoming a trauma surgeon. Obviously, when I get to medical school, you know, on rotations, it could be different things that I might want to specialize in, and I'm sure that will happen, and I'm open to that. But right now, I'm really deciding on medicine and trauma surgery.
Last but not least, we have Farah Musindu. This innovative student engineer who stood out at the 57th edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair has revealed that his invention, if tried and tested, can be used to fuel millions of vehicles in Zimbabwe and will also go a long way in ridding the country of its plastic waste problem. He said he will require an investment of $100,000 to complete research on his petrochemical innovation. Quote, "This value addition through litter. We collect used plastics and clean them before processing them into diesel. This is just samples of my passion of waste management that drove me to do this. As a country, we're far from properly managing our waste. So this is part of waste management project and improving our energy sector. This could also create employment if it succeeds. We could create employment for people who will be collecting the waste on our behalf. 100 kilograms of plastic litter is the equivalent to 55,200 liters of fuel," he said. Meanwhile, the director of the university in charge of marketing and public relations, Felix Mayo, reveals that the university encourages young and innovative students to come up with technological breakthroughs that could transform Zimbabwe to science and technology-driven economy. Quote, "Innovative projects improve people's lives as well as the nation at large. We've managed to top the education sector through the sincerity of our projects. Our innovations are things that are implementable. STEM is really not about academic subjects, but the subjects should be practical to transform people's lives and the economy as well as the country. Waste management continues to be a grave issue of concern in Zimbabwe. Concerns have been raised regarding how the food industry is contributing to the problem through the use of polystyrene, also known as K-Lite. While the Zimbabwean government has prohibited the use of EPS, it is still used for packaging in restaurants and fast food outlets." You have it, some more Black excellence there. You got three beautifully melanated young men who are blessed, with the mindset to come up with something that can revolutionize, if not change, the world and better us as a whole. So, this is why I continue to tell people that whenever you have kids, you got to make sure to, nurture your kids' ideas. You have to make sure to push them forward. You got to sacrifice a lot to get them where they need to be, because you never know, they could come up with, the next billionaire or, trillionaire idea. So, as always, thanks for anybody who decides to, click on any of the videos, coming by the channel, hitting that subscribe button, join, the like, the share. Shout out to anybody who's donated to the PayPal, who's also a part of the Patreon and whatnot. So, as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.